Hello and welcome to Zenful Conversations. I want to thank you so much for coming by for this practice today. We are a community that have been getting together we're in our 6th year of having daily conversations and efforts to let us be a little bit more present and alive for our own lives and love our lives and love ourselves and running the gamut. And we're in our 6th year, and I think it's been a remarkable time, a bunch of wonderful conversations. We've had spin-offs, we've had guest speakers. There's been a lot that's happened. The energy of the conversation changed this year, though, I believe, with this book. And it brought it down to me a lot more of a serious level, a true deepening of our practice, and everybody can deepen and strengthen their practice. This year, the book is The Book of Awakening by Mark Nepo. That's the book that we are offered this year to learn from and grow with. The first year we began was 2019, and we began with Melody Beattie's book, Journey to the Heart. Journey to the Heart by Melody Beattie is the very first book that we began with, having our daily conversations, daily self-love medicine, if you will. And that was 2019. 2020, I mean, 2019 went by and we are like, hey, let's just continue it. And 2020, we had the Mindful Year, which was Dr. Seth J. Gillihan and Dr. Arya Campbell Dinesh. And they were both doctors, psychologists, I believe. They're psychologists. And that was a very interesting year because COVID came that year, and we were reading the Mindful Year, and that really, in my mind, helped us through that COVID quite a bit in my mind. And then after that, because we had 365 days of having this conversation on mindfulness, we said, let's do something with the law of attraction. So we did 2021 was Living the Law of Attraction. And that had many different books, many different pieces, lots of different things going on there in that conversation that year. That was a wild year. And that was what, 2021. 2022, actually, that 2021, I really enjoyed that conversation because it was mind expanding, wasn't it? If a lot of you have been part of the conversation for all these years, and I appreciate that. I'm so glad that we have this time together. That was 2021. 2022, we said, we noticed. We have all we need. We need self-discipline, or to change our relationship with that word, self-discipline. So in 2022, we had 365 days of self-discipline. I think that was a rather interesting year because it was a stronger conversation, very triggering in many ways to many of us. Super important, nonetheless. That was 2022. 2023, we had Thriving as an Empath by, well, let me back up. 2022, that we had 365 days of self-discipline. That book was by Martin Meadows. I can't say I stuck with the book the whole time. There were a couple few other books that came in. I'm not a huge fan of Mr. Meadows' style. But we did have an amazing year of conversation about self-discipline. 2023, we realized we need self-care on this very deep level. Being an empath, thriving as an empath by Dr. Judith Orloff was 2023 last year. And she taught us about how self-care on this very deep level. So people we're not drained of our energy. We can use our energy for good and not be sucked dry, which I'm one of them that waited too long to tend to that and didn't do the self-care all along. Back before I made my breakthrough, as Amy Eliza Wong calls it. And Amy Eliza Wong was one of our guest speakers. We have a lot of interviews, guest speakers on YouTube. You can see them all that we've had throughout the years here, and there's been a good handful or so. So last year was Thriving as an Empath, and it really talked about preserving our energy and maybe different outlooks, a little bit of perception going on there, changing our perception, perhaps a little bit going on there. And the Book of Awakening is the book that kept coming up for this year. I'm going to tell you, I looked through lots and lots of books. This is the one that kept coming forward. And I got to say, I did not think it was going to be good. I thought it was going to be boring. And it may be to some of you. It may be boring to some of you. I understand that not everybody is resonating with it as much, perhaps. But I do hope that some of you are, because I have received messages and from a couple ladies that you're not really resonating with this message, this book as much this year. But I've also received some that said this book is spot on for them this year. So, for me, what I'm noticing is it's my state of mind has to be in a receptive space to even hear or understand or be anywhere near the level that the message that he's trying to convey. We have to realize that it was through, let me just read this page. So this is Mark Nepo that wrote this book. And at the it says an invitation at the beginning of this book. This book is meant to be of use, to be a companion, a soul friend. It is a book of awakenings. To write this, I've had to live it. It's given me a chance to gather and share the quiet teachers I've met throughout my life. The journey of unearthing and shaping these entries has helped me bring my inner and outer life more closely together. It has helped me know and use my heart. It has made me more whole. I hope it can be such a tool for you. Gathering the insights for this book has been like finding bits of stone that glistened on my path. I paused to reflect on them, to learn from them, and then tucked them away and continued. After 2 years, I'm astonished to dump my bag of broken stones to see what I've found. The bits that have glistened along the way are what make up this book. Essentially, they all speak about spirit and friendship, about our ongoing need to stay vital and in love with this life, no matter the hardships we encounter. From many traditions, from many experiences, from many beautiful and honest voices, the songs herein all sing of pain and wonder and the mystery of love. I was drawn to this form because as a poet, I was longing for a manner of expression that could be as useful as a spoon, and as a cancer survivor, day books have become inner food. In truth, over the last 25 years, the day book has been answering a collective need and has become a spiritual sonnet of our age, a sturdy container for small doses of what matters. All I can ask of this work is that it comes over you the way the ocean covers a stone stuck in the open, that it surprises and refreshes, that it makes you or me glisten and leaves us scoured as we are, just softer for the moment and more clear. It is my profound hope that something in these pages will surprise and refresh you, will make you glisten, will help you live, love, and find your way to joy. Mark Nepo, The Book of Awakening. This New York Times best-selling book is described as having the life you want by being present to the life you have. The message we're offered this year is a practice in being present. So thanks for being here. Let's turn on some music, and when we turn on the music, for me, it allows me to soften. It helps me soften. Maybe not allows, not the right word. Maybe it helps me soften. I'm going to close my eyes because I'm sitting in a chair in my living room and let the breath soften. Let it get a little deeper, a little slower. Slow the breath down and maybe start to release some of these facial expressions and let some of these muscles just soften. Letting loose of the many strands of tension that pull from all these different areas. Noticing any anxiety and just saying, that's interesting. It's okay. It's okay. Relaxing the jaw, maybe letting the shoulders get away from the shoulders, away from the ears, maybe the head, side to side. Releasing tension in the head, noticing the alignment. Feel the breath. Being present. A practice in being present is this year, 2024, the Book of Awakening, the practice of being present for our own lives. For our own lives. The message we're offered today for this day number 1917 is titled, Let There Be Light. Let there be light. Go ahead. Just trust yourself. Then you will know how to live. Just trust yourself. then you will know how to live. When Edison was discovering the light bulb, he first engaged in a process of envisioning how unseeable current of energy could be harnessed and turned into light. Like most of us, the vision came first. Once he understood what came to him, it took quite some time to find the precise material that would work as a filament in the bulb itself. Later, when asked if he ever grew discouraged or thought he was wasting his time, Edison said no. He learned something important each time he tried. He learned that there was another material not to be used. The lessons here are very telling and transferable, especially to how we seek our calling in the world and to how we seek out love. To be willing to envision what we need is powerful and real. And just as crucial is the confidence of spirit to know that it will work, even though we haven't found where we belong or whom to love yet. Equally as vital is the perseverance in trying to find precisely what will work. But perhaps the most inspiring part of Edison's journey is how he didn't view his many attempts as any type of failure on his part, but rather as an inevitable part of the process of discovery. Finally, after all of this, we are challenged, scientist and lover alike, to use what we discover and live in the light. Take a breath. Let me go over this for a second because we were talking about the other books and the other conversations we've had, the self-discipline one came to mind. Because remember, we're talking about envisioning. Oh, I wish this, vision that, think that. And from the time it takes from us to think that, from the actual time it takes to manifest, is usually a great deal. And we usually need that self-discipline to stay with. And I remember Giovanni Dienstman was one of our guest speakers, and he spoke on this discipline. It's one of he spoke on discipline a lot. Excuse me, I have a little doggy here that's making quite a ruckus. I hope you're not hearing that. But he's certainly distracting me. So let me. So it's the discipline that gets us to stay with it and manifest it. And not feeling like it's failure, though, is to me what feels challenging in this message. But to use what we discover and live in the light. The meditation we are offered asks us to center ourselves. And as you breathe, envision what you need to live more fully. What do you need to live more fully? Envision what you need to live more fully. As you inhale, commit to trying to find this today without judging what happens. And as you exhale, commit to use of whatever it is you discover. Lovely. Let's go over that meditation. Envision what you need to live more fully. Commit to trying to find this today without judging what happens. And then commit to making use of whatever it is that you discover. Take a breath with it. I'm telling you, we are so in wanting to get to the next thing so much with everything, all these things. It's like, okay, let's get it done and go here, get it done, go here. That we're not being with the pose, which is one of the messages he had a while back. That, let me see if I can find, the benefit of the pose. It was March 11th. That, let me see if I can find something. This is short. It says, in studying yoga, teachers of all traditions will advise students to be still after certain positions in order to feel the benefit of the pose. This is a great practice for all of life. In countless ways, we work so hard to get there, only to bypass of feeling the deep rewards of inhabiting the space we arrive in. This is especially true in how we touch each other. We are often so preoccupied with the next move, or if there will be a next move, that we seldom feel the deep rewards of simply holding each other. But the benefit of the pose, feeling the pose, making it here and being here, making it to this step and staying on that step, not feeling pressured to make it to the next one. How about we stay on this step and notice every flipping thing there is to notice about this step, every crack, every bump, everything about that step. Instead of feeling so, we've got to get to the next one. The thing with that is we're never satisfied once we get there. That's why this is so important this year. Envision what you need to live more fully. We can all do that. Commit to trying to find this today without judging what happens. Commit to making use of whatever it is you discover. Love it. Thank you, Mark Nepo. Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming by. Thanks always for your wonderful support and deep and honest gratitude. Namaste. See you tomorrow.